I believe the Jacksonville Jaguars are closer to a Super Bowl than you think, but not in their current form. The Jaguars need to change, improve, and make a conscious effort to improve on 3 areas which will take them from the worst team in the NFL to the best. My hope in the Jacksonville Jaguars is that they have a bunch of good players, both on the offensive side and the defensive side. But are they playing up to their potential? Absolutely not. And they're absolutely making it difficult for themselves. I'm also going to caveat that I'm only going to use statistics up until week 9 to back up my theory and claim on why the Jaguars are closer to a Super Bowl than you think. This is because week 9 is when Trevor Lawrence went down, and basing analysis and stats from games where the starting players were playing is a fair approach. What's up, everyone? This is Jags Central, and I hope you're all doing well. Let's start with the first area where the Jaguars need to improve, and that is discipline, both offensively and defensively. The team struggles with a lack of discipline, often making critical mental errors. These include penalties on key downs, drop passes, and costly turnovers. On the defensive side of the ball, we know the defense has been bad. However, it has not been helped by penalties on key downs such as third down. So many times this season, the Jaguars have had chances to hold their opponents to 3 or give their offense a chance to get the ball back via a punt, but the Jaguars have committed ill-timed penalties. Some of these stats for the Jaguars throughout this video will be damning. Listen to this first stat. 3rd and long penalties that lead to first downs for the opponent. The Jags are top 5. They're a top 5 team in committing penalties on third downs, giving their opponent a fresh set of downs. That was discipline on defense. The discipline on offense. If you're a Jaguars fan, you already know this has been an issue since we've drafted Trevor Lawrence. Since the beginning of the 2021 season, the Jaguars have had 113 drop passes, most by any team in that space of time, 20 more than the second team. And the other thing is fumbles and turnovers on offense. In 2023, the Jaguars were second in fumbles per game, and in 2024, the Jaguars are still in the top 10 in fumbles, but they've improved significantly from second spot. One of the most encouraging aspects of Jacksonville's season this season is that Lawrence has rather dramatically cut down on turnovers that plagued the first 3 seasons of his career. Lawrence led the league between 2021-2023 with 60 turnovers, 39 of them being interceptions and 21 being fumbles lost in 50 games. So 60 turnovers in 50 games. In comparison to this season, he has only given the ball away 7 times in 9 games, 6 interceptions and 1 fumble. So his total turnovers per game went down from just above 1 over the first 3 seasons of his career to 0.78 in 2024. And also he significantly cut down on fumbling. After fumbling once every 1.5 game in his first 50 starts, Lawrence has fumbled once every 3 games this year. So that is a rather dramatic improvement. And Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people have seen the Jacksonville Jaguars record and think he isn't playing well, but he's had a really, really good season. But this is not the time to be talking about whether Trevor Lawrence has had a great season, but he's doing a better job protecting the football as a whole. However, the rest of the team, the receivers and the backs are still fumbling. The second thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars need to improve on that will get them closer to a Super Bowl is playing to our strength. This is both on the offensive side and the defensive side. But let me start with the defense. If you're looking at Ryan Nielsen's defense, the Jaguars rank 3rd in cover 1. Just to clarify, that is proportion of all their coverages. In the league, they rank 3rd. Basically means that they're playing man coverage most of the time, almost all the time. And largely during this season, they have played cover 1 without their best cornerback, Tyson Campbell. And they don't have anybody else who's really good at man coverage. So they're calling something repeatedly over and over and over and over again that they're not good at. So the defensive backs are constantly being lit up as a result. And then you wonder why they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL in essentially every single metric. They rank 32 in defensive EPA, which takes into account all the defensive metrics. But part of the reasons why the defense is so bad is because they're on the field so much. Because Jacksonville refuses to run the ball. Even though they're really good at running the ball, that is a good segue into going to what the strength that offense needs to do to win. Up until week 9, the Jacksonville Jaguars were top 7 in yards per carry. Yes, in the top 10, they're top 7. People might think, oh, this is just because they're getting light boxes, because they're always behind. But while being top 10 in yards per carry, we were 25th in rush attempts. So one might argue and say the reason the Jaguars are a good rushing team is because they're behind all the time and teams are guarding against the pass, teams are giving them light boxes. And this is not really the case because they're really good at running the ball. Teams know that they're good at running the ball, so they're not getting light boxes. They're 17th in terms of light box percentage. And the Jaguars are just putting everything onto Trevor's plate and saying, okay, you go get us to explosive plays. You can't get explosive plays all the time. It just doesn't make sense and it isn't sustainable. And you can't expect to get explosive plays when you throw the ball to Brian Thomas Jr. 6 times a game. Everything I've mentioned is counterintuitive by the Jaguars on why they're not playing towards their strength. On defense, they're playing man coverage, but they don't have plays you can play man coverage. And on offense, they're not running the ball, which is their strength. The third thing is that they need to start playing together as one on defense. If you look at the individual pieces, the Jacksonville Jaguars have talent on defense. Josh Hines-Allen last season was second in the league in sacks with 17.5 sacks, and that was he set a franchise record as well for that. Trayvon Walker, he's currently 11th in the league in sacks while being essentially on the worst defense in the league. Tyson Campbell is a young and ascending quarterback in the NFL. He's been paid like one as well. And Foye Oluokun has led the league in tackles for the past 3 years. And you're wondering, how is this defense the worst defense in the league? It is simple. They just don't play to their strengths. They don't play as a team and they're undisciplined. Let's look at what they call the money down. On third down, the Jaguars are top 5 in opponent third down conversion percentage at 45%. So almost 50% of the time, the opponents will certainly convert it into a first down in comparison to the best third down team, which is Detroit, who sit at 31%. And that's a staggering 14% difference. On defense, it's one or the other. If it isn't our ability to stop third down conversions, we will give the opponent the first down via penalty, where the Jags are top 5 in penalties and on third and long that lead to first downs. Last but not least, let me set the scene once more. The Jaguars play a 4-3 defense, which means they have 4 guys on the defensive line. They're 27th on pressure rate, which means that the pass rush isn't good, despite having 2 really good pass rushers in Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. This is because they're dead last in blitz rate, which means they're not blitzing at all to help the pass rush because they're not willing to send 5 or 6 guys. And this simply answers our $1 million question of why the Jaguars are the worst defense in the league. So they have a bunch of guys in cover who can't cover and a bunch of guys rushing who can't rush. And just wrapping this up, there are a lot of things that the Jacksonville Jaguars need to change for them to go from the worst team in the NFL to the best team in the NFL. But I've just highlighted a few things as a starter. The Jaguars, number 1, need to be disciplined, both on offense and on defense. Number 2, they need to play to their strengths. So on offense, they need to run the ball. On defense, they need to play a cover that plays to their strengths. And number 3, they need to play together as one on defense. You can't have that much talent on defense and still be the worst defense in the league. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit a like on this video to help me reach more people. And don't forget to subscribe to get me to 100 subscribers before the NFL draft.